9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There's a shot on net. Score!
Scalia for 3.
There's a shot. Score! Spencer Scott. Score!
Beautiful!
Ponies up 2. Pony pride for life.
And welcome to another year of Ponies All Access, our second year of the program. I'm Ted LaRue, and alongside me is Mike Beaton. He's going to be our co-host all season long. He was pretty much our co-host last year, let's be honest, for all the basketball segments that he did. But Mike Beaton joining us as the co-host and associate producer of Ponies All Access. Welcome, Mike.
Yeah, great to be back, and it's already been a great start for Stillwater Athletics.
A good start this year, no doubt about that, but to talk about where you're going, you got to talk about where you've been, and this Ponies athletic department as a whole was very good last year, 5 state championships as a whole for the Stillwater High School athletics department.
Yes, 5 state titles and 15 section championships, so that meant a lot of travel and a lot of games for athletic director Ricky Michael. Now, Ricky received a very honorable distinction this month. He will be inducted into the St. Croix Valley Hall of Fame, one of the greatest honors that he has had, and he had told me that he attributes his success to a lot of the mentors he had, both as a student and when he was moving up to the coaching ranks here at Stillwater.
When you talk about his mentors, we'll get to that in the story, but if you talk about the person who has maybe more pony pride than anybody, it's Ricky, because he's been here for a very long time.
Absolutely. Ricky Michael, once a student here at Stillwater, took part in soccer and baseball, went away for a little while, moved with his wife to Georgia, but he just couldn't stay away from home, and when he returned, he coached the baseball team for 17 years, and that led him on a path of great success and leadership here at Stillwater.
There are a lot of people before me that are phenomenal coaches at Stillwater High School, phenomenal people in the Valley, so to be classified in that category is an honor.
In Ricky Michael's case, the category is St. Croix Valley Hall of Fame inductees. The genesis of Michael's distinction can be traced to his days as a Stillwater athlete.
I was a baseball player and a soccer player for Stillwater High School and had my experiences of failures and successes.
The biggest experience of all was a burgeoning passion for the Stillwater community. Not even a relocation to Georgia with his wife could get in the way. Upon their return home, Michael climbed the coaching ladder.
I coached everything from junior high baseball to high school baseball to soccer, both boys and girls during that time.
Michael was named head baseball coach at Stillwater in 1992. 17 years later, a spot in the lineup opened for athletic director. To get there, he employed an unusual tactic with his job status.
First thing I did was fired myself. Probably the best thing I ever did. I'm fortunate enough that I get to see all the programs succeed. It's a fun job, and I wouldn't take anything back about my decision to leave coaching and go become the activities director.
It's hard to complain about the job in the wake of a banner season, with the Ponies earning 5 state titles and 15 section titles across the sports stable last year. However, trophies aren't the first perk Michael lists as the athletic director.
You get to see young people succeed. You get to see young people work hard. Stillwater people are very good about taking care of their own, about developing their own, about being loyal to people from the Valley.
If imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, then Michael is brimming with adulation. His influence with Stillwater sports mirrors the support he once received.
I didn't think of anything new. I just took the best ideas from the people that I grew up with and tried to implement or apply those to the young people that I was going to teach. I'm very grateful to the city of Stillwater, to the town, to the community, and I'm fortunate to be where I'm at.
In Oak Park Heights, I'm Mike Beaton for Ponies All Access.
And a big congratulations from all of us at VAC TV for Ricky's Hall of Fame induction.
And I'm sure that congratulations would extend to his family, which includes a son that teaches at Mounds View and a daughter-in-law who is a staff member at Roseville, so that creates a really friendly family feud of sorts in the Suburban East Conference. And Ricky told me he's been fortunate that Stillwater has come out on top in a lot of those matches, particularly the Stillwater-Mounds View rivalry. And he wants to offer his apologies to his son for every time Stillwater beats Mounds View, but he still bleeds red, and it's just great to see though that he's taking what he learned from his mentors and it's passing along to his family, and just a real great guy and doesn't take himself too seriously. I actually had the chance to host his family at one of my other jobs at an escape room, and they have a great sense of humor, and you can see why he has just so much passion and pride for Stillwater. He's happy to have anybody stop in.
Coming up after the break, Logan, Lexi, Mike. The Huber family has been at the heart of the success of Stillwater soccer. Now, what was it like growing up in that house? We'll have their story next.
The program did.
It's pretty cool.
Mr. Dennis McDonough.
Two more times. Come on.
It's going to collect in some kind of a basin up here.
It is just an unbelievable experience and advantage that we're giving to kids.
Across the boys and girls soccer programs, there's one last name that remains a constant: Huber. Both Logan and Lexi Huber have been really good on the soccer field the last couple of years, and their dad, Mike, is the head coach of the girls soccer team. Mike, you've been able to watch them play. This is quite the family that loves the game of soccer.
Indeed, and Mike told me he's probably one of the few coaches that will stick around for both games on double headers because he's coaching his daughter and then he goes to watch his son play. And Lexi's having a strong season for the girls soccer team, and Logan, a mainstay for soccer and hockey. This is a family that really loves soccer and hockey.
And soccer has really bonded them as a family, as Pete Winslow reports.
Don't miss now.
Growing up, Lexi and Logan Huber always had a soccer ball to kick around.
Ever since I was born, I've always kind of really been around soccer a whole lot. And then obviously when I was younger, so U7, U8, U9, my dad coached those teams.
Speaking of siblings, Logan isn't the only one in the family with a passion for soccer.
Yeah, I was going to games and watching them, and then I just liked watching, so I wanted to try to play.
They started pretty young in the whole scheme of things.
And like all families, there's a hint of competitiveness when competing in the same sport.
They're always competitive with each other and competitive, not only against each other, but with their other sibling as well.
Oh, it got pretty competitive. Everyone always wanted to win. You didn't want to be losing to the younger sibling or anything like that.
But I was always super competitive with my brothers and always wanted to do as good as them and try as hard as them.
But dig a little deeper and you'll find that this sport means a lot more to this family.
It's given us a reason really to be together, and to really push each other and to razz each other on their successes and non-successes.
Basically, whenever we're at home, there's always sports on the television, and we're always talking about it at dinner. So whenever we're all together, it's kind of our main thing just to talk about.
Reporting for Ponies All Access, I'm Pete Winslow.
On the other side of this break, Mike Peden will tell the story of the two sledgehammers on the Pony volleyball team that are stuck in the middle with each other and how they chose their path on the volleyball court. That's next. Stick around. For more than 40 years, Joseph's Restaurant has had your favorite pies and been a can't-miss stop for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But have you stopped in lately to see what's new at Joseph's? A new and improved bar area is great for meeting some friends or watching the game. If you're a little toasty inside, come outside on the patio at Joseph's to enjoy your meal in the fresh Minnesota air. Whether past or present, Joseph's is the place to be, right off Highway 36 in Oak Park Heights.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
Now, Mike, volleyball is a pretty good team, that's to say the least. They made the state tournament last year, and in their hopes to make it to state again, they got two players that are going to get them there. Maddie Whittington, Reese Kohler, both committed to Division I colleges. Maddie at Illinois, Reese to Seton Hall. They are really going to lead this team this year, aren't they?
And they already have. Stillwater picking up some key wins over Grand Rapids and Moorhead to start the season. And these two D1 recruits occupy the middle hitter position, which is a little unusual in the sport of volleyball. Oftentimes, strength relies on the outside hitting. But in the case of Maddie Whittington, it's a great comeback. And for Reese Kohler, this is the epitome of all the lessons she picked up through an electronic source.
Stillwater's volleyball talents lie smack dab in the middle. The 2018 Ponies are punctuated by a pair of D1 middle hitters, Reese Kohler and Maddie Whittington. They can't tell you who is better, but they know how to make each other better.
Maddie is super strong all around, and I think I am too, and we just are those people who can hit and block very well.
She's definitely a stronger blocker, I think. So it really makes me work on my hitting, and I think that my hitting also helps her improve her hitting, because if I hit this shot, then she's gonna want to hit that shot as well, and if she hits that shot, I'm gonna want to hit that shot.
Perhaps it's fitting that Kohler and Whittington are the center attraction, given their divergent origins.
I kind of wasn't sure if it was the right fit for me. And then the next year, my dad was like, you have to play one more year. And I was like, okay. And I played one more year, and I just enjoyed it. I loved the atmosphere, the team.
Over time, Kohler virtually elevated her skill set. No, really.
Continually, I would be watching YouTube videos, and I would watch certain things about footwork, or I would watch my arm swing. And all those videos that I watched, I would continually, one by one, improve each thing.
There's no telling if Whittington used the YouTube study guide, but volleyball is the family sport, and the 6'4" junior wanted to be just like Mom.
She had introduced me to the sport, and ever since then I loved it. She brought me up playing. She just kept telling me, you got to keep working, nothing is set in stone, so you just got to keep working hard.
Her mother's advice was most prophetic a year ago. Whittington missed her entire sophomore season, tearing her ACL, MCL, and meniscus. The day of her surgery was sprinkled with angst.
When I had surgery, I was so nervous that I was never ever going to play again. I told myself every day, I will be back. And every day, I'd go to my physical therapy and I'd do my workouts and, just push myself every morning.
She did an awesome amount of physical therapy. She had always been talking to me about it, and she really wanted to get back. You could totally tell.
Reese wanted her teammate back too. So she and the rest of the Ponies found ways to maintain Maddie's morale.
I would try and make an effort to just kind of pass or just do little things like that to keep her still in the mode of volleyball.
Yeah, I really owe it to them. I was having a really hard time, trying to keep up my emotional state, and I could not have done it without them.
Back at full health, Whittington's appreciation for the sport has never been higher.
I told myself, never will I ever not want to go to practice again after my injury. I just want to play all the time now.
Kohler will attend Seton Hall next year, and Whittington has a verbal commitment with Illinois, but scholarships are just a footnote in their friendship.
Volleyball has really helped me with my development, in that I'm able to make new friends and just really get to know everyone at a family level.
Coming into the gym, I'm here with all of my best friends, and it's just such a great feeling to be around them and have a good time every practice, every game, every tournament.
In Oak Park Heights, I'm Mike Beaton for Ponies All Access.
Earlier this fall, we had a chance to broadcast a live volleyball game, and it was my first time watching Maddie Whittington. She's impressive. Reese Kohler's impressive. They're all great players.
Absolutely, and that's why they were a top 10 team last year and a top 10 team this year. Now, Maddie Whittington going to Illinois just like her mom, I asked her mother about that, and she said, you know, she was kind of hoping Maddie would follow in her footsteps, but she said ultimately it was Maddie's choice to make, but she's thrilled that she won't have to change colors in a couple of years when she goes off to the Big Ten.
Now, Mike, what makes both of these players so special?
For Maddie Whittington, it's her ability to block and her swing. She's got great velocity, and when she's up in the front row, it's tough to stop her when she's in her groove. For Reese Kohler, she is a great communicator, which is kind of funny because you talk to her and she could go on for a long time. In fact, I could probably do 3 stories about Reese based on our initial interview. Told me she's a little shy, but the more she gets to know you, the more comfortable she is, and that reflects with that Stillwater volleyball team. And it's kind of funny for Reese because she was initially reluctant to embrace the sport, and now she's going to go off to Seton Hall. One last thing about Reese. Several of her role models played for the Gophers, and so I jokingly asked her, well, what are you doing going to Seton Hall if Minnesota is the team you idolize? And she said it reminds her of coming to school here at Stillwater. It's a suburban type setting, but it's close enough to a big metro area, Seton Hall, about a half hour away from New York, where if she wants to experience life in the big city, she doesn't have to go far. And either way, 2 great athletes, and I expect you're going to hear a lot about them as they move on through the season, and if they win through sections, Maddie and Reese will have a big role in that.
A lot of great stories to tell this fall. We'll have a bunch more stories to tell in our winter program, but before we get to that, we'll have our fall wrap-up show after the fall season sometime in October, so make sure you watch out for that. Mike Peden, you'll be roaming the sidelines, I'm sure, the rest of this fall as well.
Absolutely, a lot of soccer and volleyball, and all 3 of those teams, boys and girls soccer and volleyball, have a good chance of winning their section and going on to state, and if they do make it that far, we will include that in our fall wrap-up coverage. And I know Stillwater football had some high hopes, and they certainly hope to achieve those as the season moves along, so you will get complete coverage from all the fall sports teams in our next show, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.
So make sure you stay tuned for that fall wrap-up show sometime in October. Until then, we'll see you down the road.
There's a shot on that.
Scalia for 3.
There's a shot. Score! Spencer Scott! Score! Beautiful! Ponies up 2! Pony Pride for